As the Asia crisis escalates, Israel has hit back at Iran, with its military saying it was conducting strikes against military targets in response to Tehran's attacks on Israel. Now, Israel's defense forces said, and I quote, in response to months of continuous attacks from the regime in Iran against the state of Israel, right now the IDF is conducting precise strikes on military targets in Iran. Now, the regime in Iran and its proxies in the region have been relentlessly attacking Israel since 7th of October on 7 different fronts, including direct attacks from Iranian soil. So these are the latest inputs that we're tracking at this point of time, where as West Asia crisis escalates, Israel has now hit back at Iran, with its military saying it was conducting strikes against military targets in response to Tehran's attacks on Israel.
In response to months of continuous attacks from the regime in Iran against the state of Israel, right now, the Israel Defense Forces is conducting precise strikes on military targets in Iran. The regime in Iran and its proxies in the region have been relentlessly attacking Israel since October 7th on 7 fronts, including direct attacks from Iranian soil. Like every other sovereign country in the world, the state of Israel has the right and the duty to respond. Our defensive and offensive capabilities are fully mobilized. We will do whatever necessary to defend the state of Israel and the people of Israel.
Well, joining us on the broadcast is our colleague Siddhant Mishra. Very good morning, Siddhant. We just heard IDF's response. They're saying that we will do whatever is necessary to defend their own state of Israel. Now, what are the antes that have been upped against Iran in this scenario? And these are the latest inputs that we're tracking from the ground. But what more do we know about these attacks that have now been going on against Iran?
Well, right now we know very little about the attacks that have been executed by Israel over some of the military sites in Iran. But we have got to know that there were some selected strikes conducted by IDF, and in fact, the same has been announced by the spokesperson of the IDF that Israel has selectively attacked some of the military sites in Iran. And this perhaps attack is a counter to the attacks that Iran and its proxies have been targeting Israel from 7th of October last year. Now, if you remember, recently there were barrage of rockets which were fired, rockets, ballistic missiles which were fired from Iran, from the Iranian soil to Israel, and perhaps that Israel could manage to defend its territory with the air defense installations in Israel, and perhaps that was the day when Israel announced that Israel will also attack Iran, and Israel moved strategically when it comes to attacking Iran. Israel also is engaging militarily in Gaza and Lebanon, and today we are getting to know the day has come where Israel decides to attack Iran, and the military sites have been targeted. We have also been told that the nuclear sites and the oil sites are not being targeted by Israeli force, because there were a lot of apprehensions that Israel could target nuclear and the oil sites, but those sites are not being targeted. Mm-hmm. Also, remember, this is happening at a time when Secretary of State Antony Blinken was in Middle East a few days back, and perhaps was there to speak to Bibi Netanyahu and tell him to stop the war. And in fact, Secretary Blinken said it very clear in Israel that most of the targets have been achieved by Israel. So it's time for the humanitarian corridor in Gaza, and also to end the war. But right after this particular meet between Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Israel is right now conducting strikes in Iran. Perhaps they have been concluded also, some reports suggest, and America was informed about this plan of
Right, Siddhant. Now joining us on the broadcast is our another colleague, Akash. A very good morning, Akash. Israel is now striking back at Iran, including direct. Well, we seem to have lost our connection with Akash, but Siddhant continues to stay with us on the broadcast. Siddhant, we've been getting more reports about direct attacks from Iranian soil. Can you brief us more about these direct attacks that the IDF's spokesperson has also been talking about?
Well, these are the direct attacks. Now, how these attacks are being carried out is perhaps something which we need to wait for the Israeli side to confirm. But these are the airstrikes that have been conducted by Israel over some of the military sites in Iran. In fact, till 5:30 in the morning, the operations were smoothly going on in Iran. In fact, some of the Iranian agencies have also been reporting that there are some noise which was heard, and in fact there are some movements that one could witness because of the active air defense installations in Tehran. But other than that, none of the civilian localities have reported any damage or any sort of strike conducted in the civilian areas. Perhaps that is something which we have not heard so far. And even Israel is also confirming that these are the selected strikes on the military targets. So which means that the civilian areas have not been targeted, or perhaps very carefully these strikes have been conducted, because so far no report of civilian areas getting damaged in Iran has come to us. In fact, there is also an information which is coming in, and I would like to inform that even the Iraq has also announced the full closure of the airspace until the further orders. Syrian air defenses engaging with the Israeli aircraft. Syrian state TV Sana is reporting that air defenses are confronting hostile targets in the skies around Damascus. So this is what we are getting to know. But so far, the casualty is concerned, or any of the civilian areas have been targeted, is perhaps something which has not come to our knowledge and has not been reported yet. So let's wait for some more time to get the clarity as far as the targets of Israel in Iran are concerned.
Right,
whether they are the military targets or something beyond that. What all areas have been chosen by Israel is perhaps something that Israelis have to come up with full details in some time from now.
Right, Siddhant, I'll get back to you for more details on the international reaction to all of these escalations. But now Akash is also joining us on the broadcast. Akash, help us understand more about the regional implications. What impact do you actually foresee these actions having on the stability in the entire region? Now, particularly with regard to relations with the neighboring countries also.
Right. So from defense point of view, I'll first tell you that, as Siddhant mentioned, that these strikes targeted, military stations and military targets were there. In fact, we have been given to understand that in stage one, they have targeted the air defense systems of Iran. There are reports of several destructions to the air defense batteries in some areas. However, reports are still sketchy. Also, we are learning that Israel is going to conduct these strikes in multiple stages. In fact, as of now, they are carrying out the second stage of strike. There are reports that are confirming that they are going to conduct, these strikes in multiple stages. Right. Further, we know that Iran and Iraq have, blocked the airspace. It means that civilian aircraft won't be going to these airspace. This is a precautionary measure. But then, as far as this particular strike is concerned, so Israel says that this is in response to the kind of aggression and kind of attacks that they have seen in the past few months from Iran. And at this point in time, Kohina, the strike is on, and we are learning that they are going to carry out these strikes in multiple stages.